1 minute and 41 seconds of Star Trek Into Darkness with some admittedly great music, but damn, does this movie think it's 2001? Followed by 1 minute and 20 seconds of nothing but credits that do nothing for nobody. Hey, I never realized The Next Generation totally stole their theme song from the original Star Trek movie's opening credit score. Also, Robert Wise? You mean West Side Story and Sound of Music Robert Wise? Seems like the kind of guy I'd get to direct my science fiction movie. Here are 3 Klingon ships that, while capable of cloaking, are approaching this space thing uncloaked, which they definitely won't regret. Tactical's actually standing by on future Afterburner arcade machines. Typical Klingon behavior. We don't know what this is, let's shoot it! Jaws Trek. Here's one of the fakest looking spacewalks in film history, and this movie came out almost a decade after 2001. This is unacceptable.
I have an exterior visual.
Of a fight taking place super far away? How? The Klingons are apparently fighting the ghost of the guitar guy from Mad Max Fury Road. The ball of electric energy headed towards the ship is best represented by a hexagon with 6 pegs extending off of it. This is when your computer has given up. This glowing ball of explosiveness is way slower than the one that took down the other ship a minute ago. Victory fart. This movie's planet Vulcan would seem to be super close to another large planet with a weird moon that would seem to deviate from the laws of, oh, what the f do I care? So when Vulcans have sex, do they do it logically? How do you get a boner that way? A symbol of total logic is illogical, like throwing a virgin sacrifice into a sex orgy to appease the gods. I feel like they should have just given him a copy of the game Myst and said, you know what to do, and that would end the ceremony. So these assholes were about to tell Spock he achieved total logicness and give him the symbol of unemotional reasoning. But because the Klingon murdering space gas passed by, they found out he still has emotions and take it back. I feel like these dicks should be stripped of their power for not noticing this sooner. It's amazing how these people live in a world full of matte paintings and don't suffer some sort of depression over it. Their world was lost, but thank God someone painted it back in.
The only starship in interception range is the Enterprise.
Because Starfleet literally keeps only one ship at Earth, its home base and most important planet. Even in 1979, Hollywood could not resist the nostalgia glamour shot of something that's not even as cool as the Millennium Falcon. And man, did they ever give you time to stroke it during this scene? No, go ahead. This movie is totally giving you time for that shit. I mean, the next shot is probably inside this ship's wide open exhaust ports, for those who like close-ups. So wait, when they parked the Enterprise here, did everyone on board have to fly little ships to the starbase after that? Why is this thing parked all the way out here? 4-minute sex brochure for the Enterprise ends with literal penetration at the end of it. Something tells me that none of this ship isn't ready stuff is going to be important until the plot demands it is.
Assemble a crew on the recreation deck at 0400 hours.
On the recreation deck? Is this ship not big enough for an education deck? Or a we're up against big odds deck? Do the scary deadly mission details have to be relayed on the damn recreation deck? That place is for fun!
Admiral Kirk!
Well, this is awkward.
I'm replacing you as captain of the Enterprise.
Starfleet made a decision to give Kirk command of the Enterprise without consulting its current captain in the matter. They felt it better to simply have Kirk drop that bomb on Decker in person. Hell, they had a good 4 minutes of Enterprise masturbation to tell him before Kirk showed up.
My experience. 5 years out there dealing with unknowns like this.
Wait, 5 years? That's all? I know the series was canceled early, but that's all the experience it takes to make Admiral? How desperate is Starfleet anyway? Watch out, coming through. This ship just can't survive without its glass Lego box thingamajig.
Oh no, they're forming.
Why did they even try to send people through this transporter thing anyway? It wasn't even considered fixed, and they just sent people through. That's a lawsuit right there. And weren't they sending small ships to the Enterprise? Also, what a great way to get Spock back onto the ship. Just kill his replacement in some unnecessary transporter malfunction. Him.
Starfleet, do you have them?
What we got back didn't live long.
Tragic off-screen transporter deaths are supposed to remind us of the perilous nature of human life, or the sorry state of the Enterprise, or the dangers of, oh, who f***ing cares? Sadness level increased 2 notches. Movie will just f***ing move on. Former captain is conveniently here to see Kirk get lost, and also to show off his not super impressive cock and balls. Granted, this video of a seemingly Klingon ship being evaporated by the alien probe is alarming and scary, but who shot that video? The ship that was evaporated? Was it live streamed via Twitch when it went missing or something? If so, how is there any video of the ship free space, eh? Wouldn't a tail-mounted camera disappear with the ship?
That's all we know about it, except that it is now 53.4 hours away from Earth.
The alien probe is closer to Earth than the viewer is to the end of this movie.
Enterprise is the only Federation starship that stands in its way.
That's another thing. This whole movie is predicated on the Enterprise being the closest ship to the cloud. But couldn't they call any number of ships back, use warp speed, and get here in time and not use a ship badly in need of repair?
Our orders are to intercept, investigate, and take whatever action is necessary.
Why can't our orders be delivered via ship-wide audio broadcast as normal, as opposed to this everyone gather in the recreation hall in-person announcement? Oh, I see. It's so they can all watch firsthand while the energy cloud destroys another vessel.
We are under attack!
External view.
But where is camera?
My oath of celibacy is on record, Captain.
Did this chick out of the blue just tell Kirk she's not gonna have sex with him? That's presumptuous. But I guess Kirk's oath of promiscuity is on record too, so maybe she's covering her bases.
Starfleet reports our last 6 crew members are ready to beam up, but one of them is refusing to step into the transporter.
Can't imagine why. I mean, just 5 seconds ago it turned 2 guys into Play-Doh. Guess those bugs got fixed. They transported a few monkeys and now everything's A-okay. Oh my god, it's horrible. The transporter is still mangling bodies left and right, and oh, that's just bones, isn't it? Starfleet spacewalk asshole has time to do flips, waving goodbye to Enterprise, even though a deadly energy cloud is making its way towards Earth. Party on, Garth! After the 4-minute wankathon involving the Enterprise earlier, movie continues to jack off a chafed population. Over 36.5 minutes of this movie go by before the Enterprise even leaves space dock. In the Star Trek world, all our solar system's planets are super close to each other to create dynamic visuals. Over a minute of wormhole technobabble gibberish.
Wormhole distortion has overloaded the main power systems.
But cameras showing us the wormhole and the asteroid outside are amazing in clarity for some reason.
Mr. Chekhov, stand by on phasers. No! Delay that phaser order!
Amazingly, Chekhov obeys, even though Decker breaks the chain of command and Kirk, who is the captain, does not object.
Torpedoes!
If you're wondering why a 2.25 hour movie is so long, look no further than the extended everything everyone sees is super slowed down wormhole scene. Why does blowing up the asteroid take them out of the wormhole? Or is that a coincidence? Either way, it's simple as shit. Like Riker and Troy, whom these two clearly inspired, the former captain and the new helmswoman can't help but be drawn to each other due to their complicated romantic past.
Non-belligerency confirmed.
How do futuristic scanners account for the ship's belligerency levels? So Enterprise went into warp, hit a wormhole, ended up God knows where, then proceeded toward the target on impulse power. And Spock and his tiny freighter ship were able to watch all that and put themselves directly in Enterprise's path? Do I have that right? Ah, the 70s, when you could only focus on the close-up guy and the guy in the background by blurring out half the screen.
Thanks to Mr. Spock's timely arrival and assistance, we have the engines rebalanced into full warp capacity.
I'm calling it Spock Ex Machina. Thank God he failed miserably at logic.
Warp point 8. Warp 6.
More than 30 seconds of speeding up. This new plot development required Kirk to put on a new shirt. Is Uhura holding on to her workstation during this warp speed increase? Because looking at everyone else, that is completely unnecessary, and I'm figuring wouldn't help much either.
I believe it may hold my answers.
Well, isn't it lucky for you that we just happen to be heading your way?
Bones would be amazing at CinemaSins.
Energy of a type never before encountered.
Then how can you even read the existence of said energy? You have scanners that can read energy regardless of type?
The new screen's held.
These screens are so powerful that I don't want to see this ship have trouble with an enemy torpedo ever again. I mean, damn.
Our previous transmission mode was too primitive to be received. I am now programming our computer to transmit lingua code at their frequency and rate of speed.
How does raising the frequency and rate of speed make the primitive lingua code turn into advanced lingua code? And how do you increase that with the current technology on board?
We can't withstand another attack.
That thing is 20 hours away from Earth.
You know, I'm a casual Star Trek fan, and I always thought when people made fun of William Shatner's line ratings, they were exaggerating. But, no, they got it right. So here's a 4-minute section completely devoted to flying through blue and green Apple II graphics, and a collection of reaction shots that are supposed to instill some sense of wonder into the viewer, but really makes them wonder if The Empire Strikes Back can come soon enough. People often ask what makes this movie bad, and I often point to sequences like this, that do nothing but prolong the movie without adding anything. Northern Lights ribcage! Wait, what?
Closing on it rapidly, Captain.
Well, you could have fooled me. Seriously, what the f***? This is a nearly 1 minute long unbroken take as they approach this ship in the middle of the cloud. I'm adding 20 sins for this movie's inability to cut the length of its awe and wonder shots. I'm pretty sure I've seen these exact Sulu reaction shots in the previous 10 minutes of nothing this movie calls a film. Ditto for the hot bald chick. And at one point during this excruciatingly long sequence, Bones walked in for a moment, then walked back out. Probably because the filmmakers didn't want to worry Trek fans that he'd die in the length of time it took to navigate this alien cloud. The script here literally says, nothing happens for 10 pages, and is followed by 10 blank pages. Glowing, spiky, egg sack balls of meaninglessness. Hooray for science fiction!
Don't interfere with it!
Unnecessary orders. When something finally does happen in this movie, it looks like this. Not one person in the crew shrieks in terror after that. Hey, look, Bones came back. Yay for Bones. Oops, there he goes again. Bye, Bones. Hopefully they give you a line next time. What the f*** is this screen showing? Blue spiky things? It's more worthless than the shapeless honeycomb bullshit screens to the right.
The aperture is closing.
Reverse angle on the viewer, Captain.
The alien ship closes its sphincter, signaling a lack of interest in interstellar anal sex.
Tractor beam has released us, Captain.
You are now free to move about the interior of the alien ship.
Maneuvering thrusters, Mr. Sulu. Ahead 1/3.
They are still flying towards this thing. I'm not just being a snarky asshole when I say this whole thing could have been cut in half.
You are the Kirk unit.
You will assist me.
Girl who seemed like a computer the entire movie comes back possessed by the alien and still seems like a computer. Look, just as a practical matter, she left the ship in a Starfleet uniform, and she returned into a sonic shower in a white mini dress straight out of my preteen fantasies. One thing's for sure, this alien is a teenage boy.
Jim, what's going on?
Tricorder.
I'm the ship doctor, but I don't actually carry a tricorder.
Carbon-based units?
Humans, Ensign Perez.
Jesus, who did this guy to get on this ship?
A thorough examination of this probe might provide some insight.
Admit it, you just want to see the sexy android naked.
I'm programmed to observe and record.
Why does an alien race so advanced to be able to incapacitate and capture the Enterprise still need to send a humanoid observer probe thing onto the ship to determine the fate of its new captive? Goddamn, this movie is in love with that double focus shot with blur all around the edges. Must have been new technology at the time or something. This is at least the 47th use of it in this movie.
I have recorded enough here.
I just needed 5 minutes of bullshit data to complete my job. I'm really glad this unfeeling alien entity, whatever it is, decided to keep Ilya's high heels on during the information gathering process for utmost sexiness.
All those vessels were called Enterprise.
Didn't the probe say she was done recording? The f is she doing now?
This is one of the games.
Floor-based Guitar Hero.
Within you are the memory patterns of a certain carbon unit. If I can help you to revive those patterns, you could understand our functions better.
That is logical. You may proceed.
What? That is totally not logical. Your computer brain would not allow the possibility that anything Ilya is still alive at all. In fact, you said that unit no longer functions just a minute ago.
I'm passing through a connecting tunnel, apparently a kind of plasma energy conduit.
Who is he talking to? Also, none of this dangerous-looking electricity frightens me in the least as I fly my thruster suit through it.
I must try to mind meld with it.
Can you mind meld through spacesuit gloves, though? Well, I guess you can mind meld with that alien thing through a spacesuit. Who knew? Who allowed Kirk to come out here? There are at least 3 Starfleet regulations about the safety of captains being ignored right now, and we're being robbed of the scene where someone tried to stop him and Kirk told him off in triumphant fashion. Good thing the unfeeling living machine decided to somehow spit out the unconscious Spock to safety.
The Creator has not answered. The carbon unit infestation is to be removed from the Creator's planet.
V'ger never once considers that the carbon units are its creator, which they ultimately are, and which V'ger ultimately accepts for no reason. V'ger is stupid.
The vessel, V'ger, obviously operates from a central brain complex.
Obviously.
When do those devices reach final position?
27 minutes. Mark.
They're already in Earth's atmosphere. It's gonna take a goddamn half an hour for them to get in position? The fuck? Instead of transporting anywhere closer to the target, these assholes go elevator then spacewalk for maximum film runtime. Why did none of you wear a fucking spacesuit? Goddamn, is there air? You don't know? They've gone way too far in this movie to ever be in a place where they don't show the entire walk to V'ger's brain.
V-G-E-R. V'ger.
V'ger understands the drama of the situation and lets out an inception grunt of approval. Wait a fucking second. Why does V'ger think it's V'ger based on one little smudgy nameplate? With all its vast knowledge, wouldn't it know that it's Voyager? What part of V'ger's brain casually looked at a physical nameplate and said, yep, that's my name, all right. Time to rule the universe.
They built this entire vessel so that Voyager could actually fulfill its programming.
And on its journey back, it amassed so much knowledge, it achieved consciousness itself.
Yeah, but what kind of knowledge was it gathering to become conscious? It's in space. It's not like it's connected to the internet or something. It might be able to tell you the chemical composition of Jupiter, but it never got rejected for the prom, or whatever the triggering event is that makes us ponder the big questions in life. V'ger speaks, but it's less intelligible than my neighbor's dogs.
That's what it's been signaling. Its readiness to transmit its information.
And there's no one on Earth who could recognize the old signal and send a response.
Earlier in the movie, this thing was communicating on a frequency that was so fast the Enterprise could not talk to it because the ship's signal was too primitive. Now they're saying V'ger's trying to use a 300-year-old signal after it was modified into much better technology? Just 5 minutes from the end, this movie's still threatening to put me to sleep.
The Creator must join with V'ger.
I'm in love with a fake-ass alien clone of my former girlfriend face.
You mean this machine wants to physically join with a human?
Amazingly, yes, that's exactly what this machine wants to do, even though just 4 minutes ago its probe said this.
That is not logical. Carbon units are not true life forms.
Yet somehow the machine circled back on this through all the exposition we just heard, and it will now accept a carbon life form as the creator. Captain Von Future Pedophile McDaddy disappears in a hail of alien lights, and I'm honestly just ready to go to bed, y'all. And V'ger was never seen again. It attained the answers to its questions and moved to a farm in Idaho and had 3 android kids.
Gotta admit one thing. Can't beat the view. So what do you like about being up here?
Starfleet, do you have them?
Enterprise. What we got back didn't live long.
And it exploded.
Of all the souls I have encountered in my travels, his was the most human.
I'm gonna try and keep recording! I'm going through some kind of a tunnel!
88 miles per hour!
Here it comes.
If we can control it, persuade it, use it.
Oh yeah! Here comes Kool-Aid! Here comes Kool-Aid!
Nothing I can do about it, kid. I'm full power. I'm gonna have to shut down. They're not gonna get me without a fight.
You can't win, but there are alternatives to fighting.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
I am the Keymaster.
I am the Gatekeeper.
Mr. Sulu, ahead warp 1.
Warp 1, sir.
Heading, sir?
Second star to the right. And straight on till morning.